Well, everybody, I'm Cantonese Cat. Everybody, Cantonese Cat here. I'm going to do a quick video talking about two stocks here. I'm going to get embarrassed talking about Palantir right before earnings. I mean, I'm not really a day trader. I don't really care. I like to play cycles. I like to look at technicals, I like the charts. So if you ask me what's going to happen with Palantir after hours today, your guess is just as good as mine. So I'm going to show you some evidence in terms of what I think might happen, and kind of talk a little bit through each case, each scenario here. So first of all, we're going to look at a weekly chart. You can kind of see how it reclaimed the 1.272 log fit level here, which is pretty important. If it turns out that we're able to reclaim that, then the next level gravitating up would be the 1.414, which is $104.21, right? You can look at different fit levels here. I guess if you're looking at the linear scale here, past the 1.618, we gravitate up to the 2.272, which is $94.71. Above that is 108.23. So there's still a lot of very similar levels that you're seeing here. I think since it's over the 1.61 on the linear, and since it's over 1.272 on the log, I favor it going up to about mid-90s to $100, maybe a little bit beyond that. That's what I'm looking at, and also just kind of looking at the pattern here. It does look a little bit more of like a invert head and shoulder type pattern. It looks like there's a little bit of reaccumulation zone over here. Looking at the Ichimoku, it looks like you also got a bullish cross here. You're also finding support here above a very important fit level. So I'm going to favor the bullish case here. Again, I'm just going to hold. Like, there's no reason for me to short it. There's no reason for me to do any short-dated calls or anything. I just think holding shares is probably what I want to do here. Look at the Bollinger Band. What did it do? Well, is it still overextended? Or is this still expanding? Is this still a bull trend that is still going? Looking at the Bollinger Band, certainly looks like it's still a bull trend that is still going. Very, very strong bull trend. Doesn't look like it wants to stop anytime soon. The upper Bollinger Band right now is $79.34 here on the monthly. And we'd already spanned the first trading day of the month touching the upper Bollinger Band here. So we're not way unreasonably way overextended. There is a potential for price just keep on going up and drag up the Bollinger Band along with it. Yeah, it's still a bull trend. I don't really have much else to say. So what are some of the things that I might get a little bit concerned about would be if we have price going up from here, it'll be going up on bearish divergence here on RSI. Pretty spooky, right? Maybe. I mean, on balance volume still looks like it's pretty healthy. There is a pretty decent demand here in terms of the stock. So just because you see some bearish divergence here on RSI, things break through bearish divergence and keep going up for a long time. Like over here, it's been going up the entire time in late 2023 and early 2024. It's been going up on bearish divergence, right? So I don't think it necessarily needs to just stop here. But if you ask me whether or not there's any weekly trend exhaustion, maybe a little bit. Monthly, no, it just looks like it just wants to keep going higher. The RSI is very, very overbought, but things can stay overbought for like a year. Just look at Nvidia, like it stay overbought for like a year or two usually before things just kind of plummet, right? Earnings always a wild card. Nobody really knows for sure. The technical analysis is just trying to figure out whether or not we can see any particular clues here that can tell us whether or not there's any whale moves, things like that. As far as I'm concerned, it's like 100% whales here on the monthly. There's really not much warning sign with the exception maybe a little bit of bearish divergence here on the weekly. That's pretty much all I really see. Otherwise, I favor further bullish continuation. Again, I'm just going to hold. If earnings turn out to be absolutely horrible, what are some of the potential support levels down below? You do have the tank in here around $74 and 45 cents. You do have the around support band down here around $64. I don't think it has to go down that much further than that. If it ends up just being absolutely horrible, I think it's probably going to find support somewhere down here. If you also look at a monthly and try to find if there's any particular support level, maybe if you look at the Super Ichi, you have somewhere around like $72, something like that could potentially be a support level down here below. I just don't see like this earning gonna crash all the way down to $45. I just don't really see that happening. If I get blindsided, if I'm wrong, then I'm sorry, but are we overextended here about the Tenkan and Kitchen? Yeah, heck yeah, we're overextended, right? It's $53 down here. Usually I don't like things when they're like way overextended from the Tenkan, but I just cannot bet against this very, very powerful bull trend. I just cannot. So I'm just going to keep holding it and see if it plumbs all the way down to the 60s, like what the long investors think. Then so be it. But so far, I see a very nice bull trend, and I just don't really see any particular reason I want to sell out of it. Tesla, did the earnings from last week finally catch up to it, or was it more or less just a technical move? What are we doing here with Tesla? Well, you did have a little bit of tweezer top here, way outside the upper bowl in Japan the last month or two. Understandably, you have a little bit of a cool down. It basically just cooled down right into the inside the Bollinger Band here, and so far we are still finding support more or less here on the first trading day of February at the 0.886, around $378.85. This is linear, 0.76. Could it go all the way down, back down to the 0.76 around 350, 347? Certainly, there's always that possibility. I'm not going to rule that out. Is that going to be something that's extremely scary if it ends up doing that? No, it would just be a higher low before further bullish continuation. If you can see it, that's where the Bollinger support band is at right there. So it could potentially come back and meet the Bollinger support band and hit the 0.76 fib here, and figure things out and then go up higher. You can see also the Kijun is also right around that level, right around 0.76. So it's possible. Does it have to? No. I mean, I think that there's also entirely possibility you're just holding a 0.86 here and just staying around here. So far, if you're looking at this, we could end up having more or less these candles over here trying to reverse this big giant green bullish engulfing candle here. If it all ends up just be a wick, then I think there's going to be some further bullish continuation. If not, then yeah, I can break down underneath the 0.86 and go down here to this level. It's still at support. I'm going to be more bullish here at support. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. It's only down like 6% today. Compared for a stock like Tesla, like this is really nothing. It did go from 490 all the way down to like 374, which is probably a big part of the reason why people are bitter. Like, I should totally take profit up here. Well, if you're taking profit up here, where are you going to buy? You're going to buy here. You're going to wait for it to go down lower to buy. What are you going to do? Like, you don't know, right? You don't have a plan. So, or if you do, then great. Like, if you sniff out this is way too far, it's getting too close to 1.272, or if you say, oh, it's not the 1.272, it's really 1.236 here that you need to watch out for, you sold, then great, good for you. You tell me where you're going to buy. You're going to buy at 0.86 like today, or you're going to buy at like 0.786 maybe later. If it's going to hit, if it doesn't hit, you missed opportunity, and you just end up taking profit. It never hurts to take profit, I guess, but that's kind of what I think about this stock. Overall, I'm still not really seeing any major concern for the trend because the Bollinger Band is still pointing up and down. Have you seen something similar like this where it just kind of dipped back into the Bollinger Band? Yeah, you have. During COVID, right? During COVID, you had a big giant wick all the way down, touched the 20-month moving average here, almost did anyway, and then it just didn't care. Bullish engulfing just kept going up here for like a year and a half. I'm not going to let the little candle inside the monthly Bollinger Band here to really scare me. It's only the first trading day of the month, right? Anyway, those are kind of my thoughts here on these two stocks. Why don't I talk about Nvidia here while I'm at it? Because the video apparently is not long enough. If you're looking at the monthly here, you continue to see a Bollinger Band contraction. It does tell you that this is a little bit of a late cycle behavior, although price can certainly bounce up and go up to the next level up here around 350, kind of like how it did over here after it broke through the arc. It just goes up to horizontal. We broke through the arc, back tested the arc, it could keep going up to the horizontal. How are we doing here so far for the month of February, first trade in February? Well, in January, we back test the arc here. February, we just kind of hovering around the arc here, being a little bit trendless here. If I turn off all of this and I just turned off the Ichimoku. It did break underneath the Ichimoku Tenkan here a little bit, didn't it? It did break underneath the Tenkan Kijun on the weekly, didn't it? So could it come down and test 110 here at the top of the Ichimoku cloud? That's entirely a possibility, right? And it could very well just kind of wick down underneath the arc here. It could wick down underneath the arc here and find support and have some bullish continuation. I mean, I don't know. But so far it's finding support last month pretty perfectly. So this month we did end up opening below that, which is kind of what I expected it to do. But overall, I'm still really not that concerned here. I think it's getting closer and closer to 110. And if it finds support here at 110, it would not be a bad thing, right? If it finds support here at the, well, it's underneath bonus support bands, underneath the Tenkan Kijun. If you look at the Bollinger Band, it's also underneath the weekly Bollinger Band, right? So there is a possibility it just doesn't stretch that far, because things are not supposed to be just way outside the lower Bollinger Band like what it's doing right now. It's the first time this has really happened for a very long time. The only last time something like that happened was the other way, where things just kind of get way outside the upper Bollinger Band right there, right? Beyond that, this is usually not a very sustainable move, so I think most likely we're going to end up having price grounding back up here towards the lower Bollinger Band, and I think Nvidia is going to be okay. Maybe a little bit more downwards to go. The only problem though is that let me see here. The only problem though is you never know, right? I mean, I think that on a daily here, if you look at the Ichimoku, wait, no, not the daily Ichimoku. On the daily chart here, if you just look at the daily chart here without looking at anything else, we did gap down today, and we did have a gap up here, right? I still think that more or less we're still forming a little bit of an island here, because bears are trying to just push things down here, but they just simply are not really able to do that much of it. Volume has really been kind of declining here. I think that eventually, once they're done with the shenanigans can go all the way down to like the 110, on the weekly Ichimoku cloud here. But whenever they're done, I think most likely you might end up just having a reversal go and push back up here whenever they decide to let that happen. It might not be until maybe a couple weeks later, but it can happen. On the higher time frame, I'm not really that worried. Just so you know, because I still think that it's at the GAN support here, even if it wicks down underneath of that. I still think this means something, right? Resistance here for multiple months, rejection here at 21272, come back down or back test the level down here. I don't think it's that scary, even if it wicks down underneath. And they could have some kind of weird news event that might come to really scare you out of this. But I'm the way I see it, am I going to add to Nvidia? No, because it's late cycle, right? Because the Bollinger Band is contracting, right? I'm not going to add to that. But do I think there's still another leg up? Yes, because even if it's late cycle, usually there's a leg up to kind of finish up the cycle. So I'm conflicted. I'm not going to sell, I'm going to buy, I'm just going to hold. Anyway, that's it. Just a quick update on these three stocks. Take care, guys. Bye.